I'm CJ Fairfield, a senior associate editor from CRN. I'm here in Nashville at GTIA's ChannelCon with Peter Melby and Chris Day. Chris sat on a visionary panel this morning about AI. Chris, I want to start with you because you talked a lot about AI on stage this morning. What concerns and opportunities do you see around agentic AI in the near future?
Yeah, I think the word I used on stage today was like anxiety. I think a lot of us are sort of feeling a little bit of anxiety around AI. We're seeing these daily sort of like monumental shifts in competence of AI or perceived competence in AI. I think the reality is that it's as much as we have a big vision for where it's going to go, not a lot of those things are actually real yet. Austin talked about it as well. It's like, somebody tell me how you've implemented AI in an agentic way that's actually doing something. Is anybody doing anything that's actually agentic yet? And I think the answer is no. The other thing that I mentioned is I think general competency with AI and just sort of the difference between the MSP's perspective, us as a software provider's perspective, and then the client's perspective. It's hard enough for us in the software space where we have data scientists, we have AI people that actually work for the business. That it's hard enough for us to implement AI internally. And then it's the next challenge is what are MSPs going to do with that? And then the clients are so far behind. The best you can expect for the average client is that they're sort of tinkering with GPT or similar tools today. So I think I guess for me, it's there's a sort of a lot of anxiety that doesn't need to be there yet. Let's have a little patience.
So Peter, in the age of AI, what are the risks and benefits around AI, and how can it help kind of grow your business or hinder it?
Yeah, I think it's funny. Chris mentioned the anxiety, and every time there's something new in the market, there's anxiety. And when MSPs are feeling anxiety or customers are feeling anxiety, the MSP industry does a good job of trying to convince us that that's the time to monetize it. So hey, let's just start selling it. What are we selling? What are we doing? I think so. Risk number one is do we understand value and the value proposition enough to experiment and play and start building value, not just how to monetize a cookie cutter solution in that. So the biggest risk the first big risk that I see is MSPs trying to rush toward a product. When AI for our customers, it's not just black and white. We need to learn to use it. We need to experiment. We need to be dumb with things. We need to make mistakes in our own learning about how to do that. The second piece, you said this morning on the panel, you said the industry actually hasn't changed in 20 years. And obviously a lot has changed, in terms of how we do what we do. But I agree with that in the sense that MSPs, our role is to modernize our customers. Our role is to be the agent of change for them as technology improves, and the problem is we're missing the mark on that. So I think we're pretty good as MSPs at capturing the part of the market or what clients know that they need from us and know what they need from technology, know what they have to do. But we're not good at capturing what they can do with technology because we're not at that level with them yet. We don't have the deep relationships, and that's not an AI thing. So the second big risk that I see is that we don't have the foundational depth with our clients to even be able to have the right questions that are going to lead to AI solutions.
So as an MSP, what kind of questions are you getting right now from clients around AI?
It's the same stuff that we talk about here. I mean, it's a lot of anxiety. It's what do I need to know? Is this going to, wipe out my industry in 6 months? Is this going to, make me a billionaire? Or, are there even those opportunities? It's a risk reward, piece of that. But the biggest fundamental question that comes down to is what should I be doing right now? And what people should be doing right now is not based on the excellence, and the proven capabilities of AI. It's based on just using it, engaging in it, figuring out what's next. Understanding that it's not perfect, that we're on a journey here and it's new, but starting the journey now.
And so hearing that, Chris, as a vendor, how are you helping MSPs where they are in their AI journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little different perspective from our side as on the software side because we're caught up in the hype cycle as well, and I think a lot of software companies are sort of feeling that pinch to hey, we need to check a bunch of marketing boxes that we do insane AI. I think what is proven to be working is taking common workflows and just making those just easier, just take some of the admin work out, and I think we're still early days on a lot of that. Probably 99% of the tools that MSPs are using don't do anything of much value yet with AI. it's still in that trial and testing phase. So I think our job is to be like methodical and sort of work through like where do we get gains, and it's not like, hey, we can make you 900% more efficient. It's like we just took away some like serious pain that like makes you able to run a little bit faster. We're still quite a ways from like total reform of a business and replacing employees with agents, and all that stuff. So it's like we're not trying to aspire to do that at this point. There's still a lot of obvious bottlenecks and obvious like inefficiencies that we think we can fix in the workflow, but just like small things.
And you say AI is evolving every 3 or 4 months. It's going to be different by the time we end 2025. If you can give MSPs one tip of what to do and what to not do around AI, it could be around selling or enablement. What's one thing people MSPs should not do and should do around AI?
First thing that MSPs should not do is worry or is focus so much on the pace of change. The technology always outpaces adoption. Adoption is always the bottleneck. So the AI capability is gaining exponential steam. It's cool to look at. It's fun to experience. The adoption is what will slow down. So don't get so hung up on what's happening and that the anxiety overtakes. You've got to start now. You'll learn where it is, because you will be slower than the technology is in that. The second thing that MSPs have to do, in my opinion, is they have to build deeper relationships with their customers. The AI itself will not fix that. And I tell that to our team constantly. We have revisited our entire client engagement framework because we know we have to have different conversations. And MSPs think they're having deeper conversations than the clients think they are in most cases.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I would echo that. Obviously we talked about it today. Nick talked about it. Austin talked about it. It's this idea, like the one thing that's not going to change is the relationship side. Like being, like, kind of the way I said it is like getting in the boardroom with your customers. If you're not getting in the boardroom with the customers, then it could be AI, it could be cybersecurity, it could be like workstation upgrades. You still may not be in front of the right people to make that decision. So I think we still have a leveling up to do there to enable these conversations to happen. Like, are we meeting with the people that can make decisions? Are we having the right conversations in those meetings? And then AI is just one of those awesome topics. And it's at a discovery phase now. It's not an implementation phase. So I think showing up in a way that shows that, like, hey, we're in it. We're not ready to implement. And even just like, even on Scalepad internally, the way we're kind of approaching it is like, we have a lot of room to go. We think like the first step is like everybody having an assistant, and not necessarily an agent that's going to go and do stuff, but an assistant that has some kind of context where I can ask questions and it'll help me do certain things more quickly. I think that's a really good first step. And in the context of like, what can MSPs be doing? It's like your own house is not there yet. Like everybody's using sort of isolated GPT type chats with their own stuff. And we haven't even pulled that together, let alone like agentic workflows, making changes on a customer's network. So I think it's like get our own house in order, and then we can start to like iterate on that.
So let's discuss around AI. We can talk forever, but I want to thank you both, Peter and Chris, for being here with me today. For more coverage of GTIA, head to crn.com.